Hey guys, how's it going? Barstoolie here. Today we are going to animate a move for a fighting game. I am using a concept art character of Kid from Icons as a good starting point. So I was messing about with it and I made these things. I can't see them on my screen. Hopefully I've remembered to edit them in. Yeah. And I wanted to show my process of doing that, show you guys how you can do it too with, your stuff. So let's get started. I want to do a stomp, so I'm going to drag this really far out. I'm just going to make a copy of that frame, so there's now 2 of those frames. Everything's on a separate layer that I cut out, and all of these things have multiple versions of themselves. So the first thing, I want to make the keyframes of this animation. So I'm going to make him lean really far back, so all the weight's on his back leg, and he's also going to throw his foot into the air, ready for a stomp. So if you don't know anything about Flash, this white point is where things rotate around. So on the arms, they're near the top of the shoulder, so they can spin. And you can move them, but if you move them and they're different on from frame to frame, and you tween it, it will warp and change. So you don't really want that. Gonna throw these arms into place. I did just record making this. That's why it's called Stomp 2. But I did not record the sound, which was fun. So here we go again. So this is the first keyframe. Just gonna put everything into approximately the right place. I'm gonna drag this up so you guys can see a bit more. And it's going from this to this. The head's gonna go up a bit further. So when it's coming up, think of the motion that would normally happen. So I think the arms would tuck in a bit in preparation. I think this would be bent instead. Or would it? Yeah, we'll say it will. So it's going to be a really big stomp. We're actually gonna... We'll leave that for now. Okay. And this is where it's going to be landing. So I'm going to copy the first frame just so it's easy to get back. And I'm just gonna go to... You want everything to arc. You want everything to arc naturally. So I think it's going to end around there. So it's going to need to come over quite a lot. So to do that, I'm going to put the pivot down here. Rotate. Yes. I think this body's going to straighten out a tiny bit though. And the arms are going to match. And so's the head, because why wouldn't it? And now this leg is going to stomp down right over here. You can warp anything you want as well. You don't have to keep the things the same. Actually, I think it's going to be further over here, right? Yeah. Just going to put onion skinning on, see what it's looking like. So these are the main keys. So that's where it's going to finish stomping. And I'm actually going to make sure this is really exaggerated. So when he does his stomp, it's going to be really far down and really far this way, just to show the weight shifting to this side. Bang, bang. It's going to stretch out all these keyframes. See what that looks like. And we're going to copy the first keyframe and just put that at the end. And there's no reason to not stretch it out as well. And we're done. Right, so how do we get in between all of these frames? How about in between frames? So we're going to add some in between frames. Fuck, I was so close. So to start off, I think he's actually going to duck down a bit. I think that's how we get there. We're going to have his legs down. his body down, arms down, and this arm goes out. I'm going to shift it a little bit too. And I think his head tilts forward. I think that's what he does. Put these on, space them out. So he's going to duck down like that. Just checking in between these frames. I don't think the arm goes down enough, so we're going to do that as well. And when things get pulled down from certain points, they move up from other points. So this arm's actually going to move up like the arm does. And this arm also needs to go down further. So this is the sort of movement taking shape now. Bam. So the next frame is how do we get from here to here? And I think it's a kickoff frame, as I have coined. So from ducking down to kicking off. Yeah, we're going to fix that now because that'll annoy me. So this frame is going to be in between these two. Going to drag this here, rotate it just a little bit, stretch it up just a little bit, lean it just a little bit, and this leg is straight because it's kicked off. So that's where the momentum comes from. It's him pushing himself up with this leg. Let's just see how that looks. You know what? He actually ducks down quite a lot more, if you didn't know. So we're going to twist, twist, and see where that leg started from. And we're going to bunch that up. So now he really leans onto that leg. Yeah. So a lot of this is trial and error, and I hopefully don't make that many errors, so I can pretend I'm a good animator who is doing good things. So I shit on the Icon game a little bit about their animation. I did not like it, and thought, hey, I should do that if I'm talking shit. And it's difficult, admittedly. But I think they're getting there, at least. So now that leg kicks up, and there's going to be a big stall before he stomps. So it's going to be very snappy in between these two. And I think I want to try one frame where he is leaning into this stomp. So I'm going to put this down here. So like I said, this isn't really a how to do perfect animation. This is more just how to make things look okay-ish, ready for you to animate more things, if that makes sense. This shouldn't be your final animation. This is just a few how to make things look sort of ish good. I know I'm not making sense, it's fine. So it's okay to exaggerate a lot with these sort of things. You don't have to make things, because it's not going to be on screen for that long. So you can really you can lengthen these frames as much as you want to sort of make it go slower, quicker. Bam. So that's him slamming down, but then he pops up quite quickly. And we don't want that. We want some smooth, baby. So we're gonna try and see what that looks like. No, we're gonna go from this frame, add in a keyframe here, and just slide him along a tiny bit, and he's gonna come up a tiny bit, and this leg's gonna come in a tiny bit, and this gun is probably gonna duck down. Because that's what things do. You tuck in when you're leaving. stuff like this when you've left a big stomp, as we all stomp all the time. See what that looks like. So he sort of still pops up a bit. Let's see if... Yeah, we will need an ease out, as it would be. So to connect these up, I'm going to drop this down. And I think this body... Well, this is where we decide how we want the foot to reach its destination. I think we want it to slide. So we want the foot to go there a little bit later than the rest of the body. And the gun is a lot lower and still is not lined up with the shoulder. And this arm takes a while to get there too. So it really slides back into position. Make sure that's all right. Now we want to sell that this was a big ass stomp, so we can really lengthen this out, but then it looks like it freezes, so how do we change that? Well, I'll tell you, because I'm doing the rest of the animation. I'm going to add a frame here, and all of this stuff from the stomp needs to happen. So this gun ducks way down, because it was a big stomp, and this arm swings way in, and this head goes way down. And I think the body does too. And I think the legs also do. And that's bam. Going into it. And we can do a little bit more here if you really want to add to the impact. Obviously there's no hit stun or anything, or hit stop as it was. So it kind of looks like it springs back up because it's not there for very long. So instead of having this one frame that then gets added onto, we can make this frame, have way more impact by stretching it out, pushing it down, tilting it over, and really exaggerating it. So now that really snaps down onto it. And let's trim the extra frames at the end that we don't need. And see what that looks like on a loop. So that looks alright. So this frame, you can we could add a smear in between these two, but I don't think we need it right now. And I want that gun to really show where it was the frame before, so that's going to really dip down. Looks like it freezes for just a frame too long. That's how it'll look when it's in hit stun with some more, but that's more of a programming thing. Hit stop, sorry, not hit stun. So when it hits something, it'll freeze up. But for this, I think 3 frames works a lot better, and the gun bounces down at the end. On this frame before, I think we're going to show the gun up here and the arm out here, really exaggerate this stomp. So it flicks back from here to here. And I think we may be able to get away with dropping a frame. And also when this goes down, we're going to give that head a bit more of a tilt. And this arm is up a bit more, ready for it to flick in. Now something I'd add to this if I was working on icons is a little stomp thing. I don't know what it's called, just a mark. So I'm going to do this pencil, and I'm just going to sketch out. Oh, I don't like that. I'm going to go in smooth. And just going to zigzag some cracks into the ground. Like I say, I don't have much artistic ability, so I had to use this concept art to sort of make something like this. Crack. Okay. Okay. And just going to smudge this in. That sort of looks like a crack, right? And we're also going to give it an alpha of, let's say, 90, just so you can see some of the background. And it starts to fade out, right? Up until here. Classic tween. On the final frame. It does not have any visual. And I'm just going to add in, we'll go with 2 keyframes. And then I'm going to remove this and just space this out. Totally spaced out, dude. And I think that's it. I think that's a nice crack. Bam. Let's see what this whole animation looks like. That is some snappy animation. And you can see at the top we got, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 frames for this animation. So you can do this hand-drawn instead of just using this rotate and fuck about easy way that I do it. But you can get these sort of results. Hopefully I've edited and put them all on screen, the other things that I've done that I showed at the start, once again, hopefully. So this is how you animate stuff like this. You could, I'd probably make this hold for a little bit longer. Oh, pretend that wasn't really done. Yeah, I'd probably let this hold for a lot longer. And maybe make it fade out quicker. See, this is the sort of thing you should do in animation. Let's go with remove frames. It fades out right at the end. Oh, it does. Oh, sort of does. Now you can make the cracks actually appear, but since this is just a quick loop for this, so you don't have to put in all these in between frames. You can add a smear if you want to really sell that. I could show that in another video because I've done it here with the guns. I hope I showed the smear. It doesn't look right until you see the rest of it. This thing looks really goofy as well from the up smash, and this is the smear from the punch of the uppercut. All of these, I think they're really simple to do. You can use the same technique for it. A lot of it is just spacing out frames and seeing what looks good. This is playing at 24 frames a second. The whole attack itself is what would that be? Let's see. The whole attack itself is just a second. 1 second. So you can space out this these end frames to slow out the end. But I mean, I could play with this all day. It's really up to you what you want to do with it. So you can try it and send me a video. I'll play it in the next tutorial if you do it, and I'll, you know, shout out. Concept art, again, by this guy, name on screen. I should have remembered it because I've posted his handle on Twitter like so many times. I'm also going to be making a Patreon at some point. The rest of this doesn't matter, so just enjoy. Do this thing. Do it if you want to. And this is the end of the video. Goodbye.